Alright guys, the time is now for a showdown between the Tomb Kings, who are going to be led by Ark the Black, and the Dark Elves, who are going to be led by Big Mama Marathi. So without further ado, let's jump right into this match and have some fun. So the first thing you guys are probably going to notice is the glorious Iro Titan. So I feel like it's been forever since I used one of these, and I really wanted to jump into a quick battle, just try them out, get that sweet Spirit Leech off, as well as the Shem's Burning Gaze. And also something else that's really cool about the Iro Titans is they do give you the Spirit Conduit, so they increase your Winds of Magic power reserves, as well as your recharge rate. It's very similar to the Casket of Souls. However, I think the Casket of Souls only increases one of those. I don't think it does both. But the Iro Titan, typically not the best against Dark Elves because they do have really good, armor piercing, right? They have the Dark Riders with their repeater crossbows. They have the Dark Shards. They have the Bolt Throwers. A lot of stuff to help deal with the Titan. But I kind of figured like it might be one of those off-meta picks that is going to surprise your opponent. It's like your opponent isn't going to expect you to do something so stupid, right? So maybe they're not going to bring an answer for it. It's one of those like extreme mind games things. So I wanted to try it out. But as soon as we do open the game here, I can see my opponent does have 2 Bolt Throwers. So I'm going to be sprinting, or in the case of the Iro Titan, waddling for the forest here and hopefully getting some okay cover. But on top of that, we do have Ark the Black. So I made a pretty big mistake during the game. I don't know like what happened. Like if you guys have had this bug, I pick Ark the Black, I put him on a horse, and for some reason it just puts him on foot, which is like, it's like, I don't know, maybe the gold, sometimes the gold doesn't register. It seems to be a pretty strange bug, but I've had it happen to me in countless games. It's definitely very frustrating. So unfortunately, Ark the Black is going to be on foot here, which is going to be a huge crutch for me. It's definitely going to be quite a bit harder because the real power of Arkin is to be mobile, summon skeletons where you need them, make sure he's in range to, have his supporting soul blights. He is going to be on foot, which again is going to help against Marathi, I guess, in a duel situation because her bonus versus large isn't going to matter. But aside from that, it really, really sucks. But we'll see how we can do. Front line's going to be Tomb Guard, Nehekar Warriors, Kepler Guard here in the middle. Pretty standard front line. Tomb Guard can definitely beat like Bleak Swords, Dread Spears, do okay against Corsairs. And Nehekar Warriors are also pretty good against chaff, so we're going to have an entire front line there. We do have the Chosen of the Gods. We also have the King Nikesh's Scorpion Legion, Skeleton Horsemen here, and 3 groups of Nehekar Horsemen. So one here, and then we also do have some Carrion. So pretty strange army here, but looking forward to trying to make it work. The Bolt Thrower is definitely a very good choice for my opponent, but again, I do have a pretty big advantage in the infantry fight. For my opponent's army, he does have Slaanesha's Harvesters here in the forest with the Cold One Knights and Marathi, so pretty mean anti-large kit here. The Slaanesha's Harvesters can use the Mark of Pain for the duelist situations. Marathi can come in with her anti-large, the Dark Sword, which is going to lower melee attacks. Like, she brings so much to the table. Cold One Knights, but for the rest of his army, pretty low tier stuff. It's just going to be mostly Bleak Swords in the front line. He does have 1 group of the Black Guard. In the back, he has Sisters of Slaughter and 2 Bolt Throwers. So definitely a pretty solid Dark Elf army with the Knights of the Ebon Claw on the far side. A very good armor piercing unit, actually. Decent against constructs. If I had like Tomb Scorpions or things like that, these bad boys can do pretty well against armored constructs. And they don't rampage, which is really cool. So without further ado, guys, let's get this show on the road. So right now, going to be advancing into the forest. I do see the Slaanesha's Harvester, so I'm like, I'm going to test my mettle here. I'm going to send in the Nehekar Horseman, because I wasn't sure if he saw me coming, but he did get the counter charge. Marathi charges in as well. So then I move the other Nehekar Horseman up around the back, and I will be getting a rear charge, but I don't think it's going to be that great. Like, we're not doing enough damage. And I did kind of charge him, but they got like caught up in one model here, so it didn't go quite to plan. So bit of a disaster early on, but again, it's not the worst situation. We do have our Chosen of the Gods and the Iro Titan coming out here, and we're going to be falling back right now as these Cold One Knights do come out here. So far we've lost about 500 gold. Not the worst thing. We did a little bit of damage right here on the Slaanesha's Harvesters, which is pretty cool. And it looks like there's going to be a Soul Stealer going down as well. So now we have a fight on our hands, and this is what I'm talking about. Like, I needed Arkin here to be summoning skeletons, to be giving the Libra Mortis, but unfortunately he's waddling, he's out of range. I was so frustrated during the game, but regardless, he's going to be coming in. And it looks like he's doing a full-on charge on the Slaanesh Knights here, or with the Slaanesha's Harvesters against the Chosen of the Gods. And that definitely did quite a bit of damage. So at this point, I'm like, I'm going to take this fight, see if I can wipe out all of his mobile forces. So I do use a Soul Blight here, which is definitely going to help. And the Iro Titan is definitely laying a bit of a spanking. So I was happy to have gotten the Iro Titan into battle here. He's doing a lot of damage. Now we're probably going to trade the Chosen of the Gods for these Cav here, but it's not the worst situation. Over here, we also do have the Cold One Knights fighting against Nehekar Horsemen, and I also have some Spears coming in. And the Cold One Knights are getting dumpstered. Plus, I do summon some Skeletons on top of those guys, which pretty much seals their fate. So we're going to get 1,000 gold here. We're going to lose our Chosen of the Gods. My opponent's still going to come out a little bit ahead, I think, as the Chosen of the Gods did go down, and that was pretty sloppy of me. I just wanted to see if they could hold with the Libra Mortis, but they really couldn't. Arkin the Black does come in, and we get some really good damage on Marathi as well. A Spirit Leech from the Iro Titan, plus Arkin coming in with the Staff and the Gash. I mean, it was almost an even trade because we got so much damage on Marathi. We killed the Cold One Knights completely, so that's, 1,100 gold or 1,000 gold out of the window for my opponent. And the Slaanesha's Harvesters definitely took a lot of damage as well, but I would say he still came out ahead because he did get the Chosen of the Gods, and he also did get some of my Nehekar Horsemen. But aside from that, almost an even trade considering we did get Marathi down to half health. In this fight, though, the Nekar Warriors doing very well against the Dread Spears. The Kepler Guard are fighting against the Sisters of Slaughter. We have shut down his Reaper Bolt Thrower, so we're getting a lot of good trades in the front line because he did allocate a ton of resources to that forest fight. Granted, I did too, but here we're able to kill the Reaper Bolt Thrower with the Carrion. Frontline fight's going well on pretty much all fronts. He does have the Knights of the Ebon Claw fighting against Spears, which is really good for me as well. We have another group of Nehekar horsemen coming around the far flank to potentially shut down. But yeah, the frontline fight definitely favoring the old Tomb Kings boys here. Nehekar Warriors doing their job. Bounce of power, a little bit in my opponent's favor, but the fact that we do have Marathi so low is definitely very nice. Knights of the Ebon Claw here being speared down, and they're losing a couple models, I think. No, it does not look like they've lost any models yet, but they should lose a couple from the spears in a moment, which is going to be nice. Kepler Guard here and Nehekar Warriors, it looks like they're also chipping away at these Knights of the Ebon Claw. We do get our Nehekar horsemen in the back, and they're just going to be hunting down the scraps. And as you can see, we're going after the crews. We're getting a lot of free kills with them, so quite happy about that. In the meantime, the forest fight is pretty much over. He has some rampaging Cold One Knights. Slaanesh Harvester is very low as well, but now we're going to be piling in. And things are actually going pretty well in many respects. Granted, Arkan is having a waddle, which is really, really annoying. The Iro Titan is going to be caught by the rampaging monsters, and I tried to get a Shem's Burning Gaze, but for some reason it got canceled there, which was a little bit annoying. But Marathi does charge in, giving the Heartrender and the Dark Sword and Enchanting Beauty. But again, Arkan is going to get a Spirit Leech. She's in the danger zone for sure. Probably going to respond with the Soul Stealer to try and heal her up a little bit. And it looks like there's something going down here in just a moment. It is going to be a Soul Stealer, so that should help Marathi stabilize a little bit from that. But again, I have pretty good troops here. 85 Tomb Guard with the Libra Mortis. Should be able to handle these Dread Spears pretty easily. And the mainline fight isn't going bad. The Sisters of Slaughter getting worn down a little bit. Nehekara, bit of a tongue twister. Horsemen here in the back doing their job. And the Iro Titan is slowly able to kill these Knights off. So the Cold One Knights break and then they come back. So the Iro Titan, unfortunately, hasn't been the best pick either this battle. But again, it's been very fun to use it as well as its other abilities here. So it's going to be waddling out of the forest. And it looks like it's mostly going to be Tomb Guard fighting here. I do have the King Kesh's Scorpion Legion, but Arkan the Black is going to be on foot. I'd love to have the horse so I could go summon some skeletons on that Reaper Bolt Thrower, but alas, he's going to have to waddle, and, he's doing his thing. Car Horseman not trading terribly with the Slaanesh's Harvesters at this point in the game. They are pretty low. My opponent does use the Word of Pain, so that was a beautiful cast right there. He's been playing very, very well with those guys. The Word of Pain going to lower the melee attack to 0. Arkan the Black is going to be running in with the Staff of the Gash, giving him that cooldown recharge, all kinds of good stuff. And the mainline fight on this side has gone well for my opponent, but up on the high ground it's gone a little bit better for me. And the forest situation isn't bad either. The Iro Titan finally kills those Cold One Knights. He will be waddling forth. And the Bounce of Power, a little bit in my opponent's favor, but nothing that a Spirit Leech or two can't fix. And it looks like Marathi's going to be charging in. So Marathi's going to be trying to take on Arkan. But the thing about Arkan is he's small right now. So this is like one situation where it's kind of nice that he's on foot because Marathi can't snipe him as easily. And the curse is going to go down, hitting all these nearby units. And I also summoned my Ushapti right here. I know this is going to be like super important. So I summoned the Ushapti, I summoned some skeletons, and we're just going to be going fisticuffs. Marathi gets trapped. Here comes the Skeleton Warriors in the back to pin these guys down. And I think suddenly we're in a pretty good little situation. You can see a lot of his knights are just inundated with like chaff units. The Ushapti are going to be karate chopping the infantry, providing some really good armor piercing. We're quite happy about this situation here, considering the circumstances. Up on the high ground, Tomb Guard are clearing up these Dread Spears, which is going pretty well. King Nikesh's aren't going to win any beauty contests. For some reason, I keep trying to march my Iro Titan and like cast a Shem's Burning Gaze, and every time he doesn't cast it, and then he just stops moving. It's such a tricky thing there. But anyways, Arkan the Black here fighting very well, and this is something that could get us back in the game if we can kill Marathi. She's very low, 758 HP. And she's taken a lot of damage from Arkan on foot there, and of course he does have that Spirit Leech, which has been doing some pretty good work as well. And the Iro Titan's going to be marching into the main battle, which is going to give me a Mass Terror, which is going to be great. Ushapti here do have some decent kills. I guess 10 isn't bad. And they're able to chop through some of the Bleak Swords. And the Knights of the Ebon Claw getting shaken, actually. Down at about 900 HP. Marathi does take off up in the skies here. And Shem's Burning Gaze coming in. And it does about 200 damage, which, it's not terrible. And really proud of this King Kesh's Scorpion Legion, though. They've just been fighting like to the bitter end against these guys. They're not being pause the game there. Fighting to the bitter end against the Black Guard, which is definitely quite an impressive feat. So for the most part, the Titan here is going to be fighting against the Bleak Swords. It looks like they're going to be terror routed, which is going to be great because it's going to open up this engagement for me. I can now move the Iro Titan over here because it's starting to look a little bit thin for my troops. You can see the Nehekar Horsemen are low. Skeleton Warriors are running on fumes here, so having these reinforcements is going to be very nice. Reaper Bolt Thrower is running low on ammo, and Titan still has about 4,000 HP, so definitely nothing to sneeze at. And the Titan is going to be marching in here and potentially doing some... That's a pretty cool shot, right? Like seeing it up against the sunset there. Anyways, the Titan is going to be zapping some of these guys with his laser eyes, and he basically just evaporates one of those Ebon Claw Knights, which is always pretty cool. We kind of have a mass terror route, so a lot of the Dark Elf forces are going to be terror routing here, which is very nice. King Kesha is just doing their thing. Marathi, a dangerous charge for sure, charging into anti-large poison troops who can potentially get a couple, 100 HP damage on her. Arkan's going to be falling back a little bit because Sisters are just absolutely spanking him. And I'm just trying to get away, make sure I can get another skeleton summon before the battle's over. But yeah, this Iron Titan's doing really good. I mean, it might be able to rout all these guys off, and here comes the other skeleton summon, which is going to be huge because suddenly the Iron Titan isn't surrounded, right? He's in pretty good shape. Like, the Bolt Thrower is not going to be able to finish him with that much ammunition. And then on top of that, the Dread Spears are having to fight skeletons now. The Blackguard and Nagarond are getting a little bit low as well. Arkin the Black is going to be piling in, doing a decent job. Staff and Nagash going down, mass terror riding for the Dark Elves. We're quite happy about that. Over here we do have some Bleak Swords that are able to fend off the Scorpion Legion, which is a little bit unfortunate. Mrathi's very low. Now, if she had broken here, I think I might have been able to get ahead on the Bounce of Power, but unfortunately she does come back. Probably has enough Winds of Magic for one more Soul Stealer, and that's definitely going to be tough. But again, we're doing okay. You can see the Blackguard are low. Everything else that the Dark Elves have here is pretty much like tattered. It's just the Blackguard and Marathi, but again, Arkin is also very low, so I'm not out of the danger zone yet. And the Sisters of Slaughter are just one of those elite units that just fight to the bitter end. So we have some routing here from the Dread Spears. The Blackguard are still fighting. How many models do these bad boys have? So they got 42, so they've only lost a couple. And I do try and move the Titan away from the Blackguard, making sure I can karate chop some of these guys down here. And it looks like now there's going to be a Soul Stealer from Marathi, which is probably going to seal the deal at that point. The Bounce Fire is pretty close, and I think I might have been able to get away with the Terror route. But unfortunately, that Soul Stealer is probably going to kill Arkin or put him into the point where he crumbles to death. And it also is going to trigger like army losses and stuff like that. So you can see I get slapped pretty hard with that. The Blackguard are in okay shape. Marathi was able to heal too. So when Marathi healed, it then triggered the Bounce of Power even further. So very well played to my opponent. It was a super fun game, like back and forth. I was a little bit bummed that I didn't get to have Arkin on a horse. But again, playing games where you have to like fight uphill with like adverse circumstances, I think it's really good for like honing your skills and whatnot. But yeah, Chosen of the Gods engagement, super sloppy. I mean, I should have kept them back, but I was kind of like, I'm going to use their mass to pin my opponent in here and then try and hold them against the Titan. But the amount of damage they took with the Soul Stealer plus the Soul Blight from Marathi was just like incredible. So they went down so fast. I was not expecting that. Also, my initial engagement with the Nehekar Horseman was a little bit sloppy. I mean, it did force an engagement where I got his Cold One Knights and brought Marathi down to half health, which almost won me the game. But still, I think I could have played a little bit more conservatively and just like kept high and tight. But yeah, it was quite a bit of fun. I think maybe just like advancing forward on my opponent, using the Spears and the Titans in the center to kind of break things open would have been better. But again, by fighting in the forest there, it did open up the Reaper Bolt Throwers, and his infantry really were unsupported. So there was some give and take there for sure. But yeah, it was a fun build. I really do like the Titan, and a lot of people don't expect it. And sometimes like mixing in something that, like a Giant, for example, against a Missile faction, they're not going to really expect that, right? So I think it can really do well from time to time. My opponent's build is pretty solid. I mean, just has a low tier front line, most of the Reaper Bolt Throwers against Constructs, and he does most of the heavy lifting with the Harvesters as well as Marathi and the Dread Knights, who really pimped it. These guys were just absolute beasts. So anyways, very well played to my opponent, Hadries. He played awesome there. Very, very solid micro. Great timings with Marathi as well as his Slaanesha's Harvesters. So it was very, very cool to see that. And looking forward to running into you again on ladder. Thanks again for watching, guys, and we will see you guys next time. Take care.